Peace and love, everyone. Welcome. Glad you're here this morning. Hi, Catherine. I hope that you're batten down your hatches down there in Florida for what's coming after the big storm that you guys already had. Hi, everybody. Kristen, Living for Joy, Janet, Robert, Kelsey, who lives quite nearby, I think. Peace and love, everybody. Welcome to Not Church Monday Morning Meditation. Thanks for being here live. Thanks for watching by recording. Thanks for participating. Thanks for your support. This is a niche community that we have because we're always seeking the deep mystical matter, the thing that matters most. And the thing that matters most is love matters and seeking the unity, the oneness. And yesterday we talked a little bit about this. This guy, this mystic named, well, it isn't his name, it's his title. We'll come to his name in a second. The mystic Baal Shem Tov. He was like 1698 to 1760. And he was born as Israel ben Eliezer. And he's the rabbi, like I said, I mentioned yesterday at Not Church, a Jewish spiritual leader, uneducated, who founded the Hasidic movement in Eastern Europe and the Ukraine. His teachings transformed Jewish religious life by focusing on inner spirituality, joy, and a deep personal connection with God. So who was he? And then we're going to get to a quote. He lived a humble life. He became known for his wisdom and his healing abilities, which earned him this title. It's a title, the Baal Shem Tov. It means master of the good name, meaning the divine. Although, if you remember back how we studied 2 or 3 years ago, the name in early Torah, YHWH, Yahweh, Jehovah. Well, in the Hebrew, they only spell it YHWH, and they came to refer to it as the name. So he's the master of the good, capital G, name, capital N, meaning God. Because anything you say about God isn't God, so they call it the name. So anyway, although he didn't come from a scholarly background, he was deeply connected inside himself in mystical experience. And he gained this insight, and he then used his experience to guide people. And so what did he teach generally? He taught love and simplicity. It's a very simple thing, this mysticism. And joy. He taught joy. The Baal Shem Tov taught that, I should turn off the outside speaker here, car coming by. The Baal Shem Tov taught that serving God should be joyful and from the heart, and not just following strict rules, laws, or doctrines or dogmas, or just intellectual study, knowing things about the history and theology. He understood that even the simplest person could connect deeply with the good name, and not just the learned elite. And we find that in Christianity, in Brother Lawrence, Frere Lawrence, who was an uneducated, deeply mystical person in a monastery. Now, the Baal Shem Tov taught God is everywhere. We talked about this yesterday and the week before. Transcendent and immanent, in everything, all the time. The supreme self, the capital S that is all things and beyond all things, and the little tiny s that is in everything there is. The rabbi emphasized that God is present in all aspects of life, not just religious studies, but in everyday activities. He encouraged people to see the divine in everything around them. One of his core teachings was about love and loving others, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. He believed and he understood and he saw and he experienced that all people are connected by this unity, this love, this one being. This unity of humanity was central to his spiritual message. He founded Hasidism, and Hasidism spread throughout the world, and it became the most mystical aspect of Jewish life. And so what did he teach? Here's one of his teachings. Some of this is going to be familiar to you. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Why, he asks? Because every human being has a root in the unity, capital U, And to reject the minutest part of the unity is to reject all of it. Think about that for a second. The rejection of a single part of it rejects it all because it is unity. There's unity in all creation. The Baal Shem Tov understood because he experienced that every person is a part of a larger divine unity, the larger divine unity. And this means that all people, all of us, are connected and have a common source in the supreme being, the ultimate divine, the beloved. No one is separate from it. Here we find it in Jewish mysticism. And in his understanding, in his view, in his experience, each individual carries this divine spark. We talk about this, whether we're talking about the Baghavah Gita or Jesus or Rumi, it's the divine spark. We find it everywhere because it is everywhere. And God's presence, the divine being, the presence inside of binds us all together. And so rejecting one is rejecting all. And he taught that if you reject or mistreat even one person, you're not just rejecting that individual, you're turning away from the entire divinity. In other words, if you dismiss any part of humanity, you're rejecting the divine essence that connects all of us. So what's to be done about that? Loving others is what's to be done about it, because loving others is loving the beloved, loving God, loving Allah, Brahman. Since every person contains a spark of God, loving your neighbor is an expression of your love for God. And this love isn't just the kind about human relationships. We all know that there's 10,000 kinds of love because we love so many different things and our feelings are so different, and then we categorize them under love. It's a spiritual understanding that reflects our relationship with the divine from inside us. When we see the core of goodness in us, we see it in others. I've said a zillion times, the light sees itself. And we see it in ourselves when we step aside, either through service to another, through selfless service. And that could be like a fellow I spoke to yesterday who spent the last couple of years caring for his aging and dying parents. It doesn't have to be sexy, like, volunteering for some great event. It can just, in serving others, it can just be your average daily life of helping others live. It can be those other things too. You could be volunteering for the Red Cross, like a buddy of mine is starting to volunteer for the Red Cross now that he's retired. Can I go to the tragic areas like Western North Carolina and help out? It could be that, but it could be just treating people like you want to treat yourself, the golden rule. And so the commandment, love thy neighbor as thyself, suggests to us that we should love others the same way we love ourselves, because we're all part of the divine unity. And the funny thing is, it is how we love others. See, that's the weird thing about it. If you love yourself, it's easier to love others in a healthy way. When I'm not talking about loving my body, I'm talking about the goodness inside of me. That love is pure love. And I don't have to make it happen. I just have to step aside to let it assert itself. And when it asserts itself, it naturally loves others, the light inside them. And it doesn't mean you have to like the person. It's not about liking. It's about loving and seeing and experiencing the core of their being. And when you care for others, you care for yourself, for your own soul, and the larger interconnected whole of all of us. So in essence, the Baal Shem Tov, the rabbi, he had this teaching on loving your neighbors. And it's about recognizing the deep spiritual connection between all people. And how else is humanity ever going to get well? How else are we ever going to grow up? How else are we ever going to stop having wars and violence, tribalism? When we see that we are the same at the core of our being, and not to mention that we share 99% of our DNA with everybody. There's only 1% that makes us different, and that's super tiny. So really just on a physical level, it's true we already are in unity on a DNA level, but I'm talking about changing our minds through through love. And when we understand that, when we live that, we ultimately we're loving God in the same process, which is why an internal meditation practice matters, but an external g- karma yoga, the action of service to others, whether you're serving your town and you're on the town board, or you're on the water company or something, some sort of service that's about other people. That's a spiritual practice of goodness. And once you see, you can't unsee. And what I'm trying to tell you here, across much of the work that I do here, is so that you can see that mystics, once again, here we have it again, once again, mystics from every culture and every time and all these different religions and mythologies, from the Bhagavad Gita to Jesus to the Baal Shem Tov, agree. Love matters most. And the way to learn to love others is to love the light inside yourself. Let the love love itself. Let the light love itself. And how do we do that? We do that through diminishing ourselves, our attachment to our own self, not in an unhealthy way, because that happens too, codependency and all that. But no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about stepping aside from egoic self and allowing love to live. And it's everywhere. Hey, I want to thank everybody for being here. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Judith. Hey, Evaluate. No notice today. No, I don't. Well, I had computer trouble today, for one thing. Yeah, I don't usually send out notices on Monday anyway, but too many emails going out to people. But I had I had to buy a replacement screen, and my replacement screen went on the fritz this morning, and so I was like, "What? Okay, get everything done and be calm." All right, so you're right. Thanks, Evaluate. You just go to YouTube and search for me, and it'll show up. All right. Thanks for being here live this morning. Thanks for liking and subscribing and all the rest of that stuff. Let's get to some meditation before it gets too late. Make sure my clock is, my alarm is set to give us the bottom of the hour here. That's the, oh, maybe I get birds to help here. No, there's no birds out there right now. I'm assuming that you guys can hear my outdoor life. There it is. That's somebody dropping by right there. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a slate colored, a junco, not a slate, dark winged junco. Anyway, I'm going to quiet those birds down. Hey, conversations. Good morning, Mia. I'm glad you are here. Thanks for being here. My feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to lead you into some Om practice today. Remember, we're vibrating, we're feeling the vibrations in our chest. And one of the things that chanting aloud does for us is that and feeling the physical body and the breath, it controls the mind. And controlling the mind and the thoughts is a huge advantage for all of us in all aspects of our lives. So we'll do some oming. I don't even know if that's a verb. And my shoulders are back. Move my mic away. I'll move it further away so you don't have to listen to my breathing. Feet are flat on the floor. I wish I had my mask today. Don't know where it is. I could use the blinding today, but oh well. I like a dark room myself. Feet are flat on the floor. Eyes are closed. Shoulders back. Spine straight. Don't forget to unbuckle your belt and undo your button because you want a big belly. All right. Filling your belly full. And your lungs. share your practice. When your mind wanders, return to your focus and your breath. and love, everyone. Although keep you in my thoughts and prayers, Catherine, this week. Hey, Kristen, thank you. Peace to you all. Peace to you, Wanda. Peace to everyone. Thanks for being here. Hi, recorded people.